work. So I'm able to see firsthand what we lack and what we need in the community. So I just felt like maybe I can put my ideas onto a presentation.
A Rhode Island teenager beat out nearly 100 students to win $1 million, not for college, but to improve our community.
I think that Rhode Island is kind of a microcosm for the rest of the country.
16-year-old Mariam Kaba competed for the Pepito Opportunity Connection Scholarship that asked high school students to pitch what they could do with $1 million to help improve the lives of the state's communities of color. And her idea won.
Everyone that looked at her proposal in our review said, wow.
Mariam shares her big idea that will change the lives of others who look like her to have what wealthier white communities in Rhode Island have.
That I do already a lot of community work in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and do a lot of activism work.
This is 16-year-old Mariam Kaba, the daughter of West African immigrants and the first ever winner of the $25,000 Transform Rhode Island Scholarship and a seat at the table as the Pepito Opportunity Connection invests $1 million towards her ideas to improve Black and brown communities in the state. The high school sophomore lives in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, a small city of about 43,000 situated 15 miles north of Providence. Woonsocket mirrors the nation's smallest state in population demographics, with a Black population of a little more than 8% and more than 80% white. Kaba says as a young activist focusing on communities of color, she noticed early on the disparities that exist between the state's Black and white communities.
So I'm able to see firsthand what we lack and what we need in the community. So I just felt like maybe I can put my ideas onto a presentation.
Rhode Island's poverty rate for its Black residents is 22%, double that of the state's white population. Kaba says she experienced the disparity firsthand when she attended a predominantly white high school before transferring to a predominantly Black and Hispanic school in her hometown of Woonsocket.
Cumberland is a predominantly like a white city, and their city is so clean and furnished. Like their education is like 100 steps ahead of us. So me coming back here is like, damn, like Woonsocket is like a low income city. Like we're predominantly minorities, and like look at our education. Like look at what we're learning. Like we're so like behind.
So when Kaba learned of the Pepito Opportunity Connection Scholarship, which asked high school students to pitch what they could do with $1 million to help improve the lives of the state's communities of color, she hopped on the opportunity. Kaba beat out nearly 100 other students with her essay explaining how her plan could close the racial wealth, education, and employment gaps.
You know, they always say the cream rises to the top. My goodness, she did all the way. Everyone that looked at her proposal in our review said, wow.
First part is a bi-monthly job fair. It's in job aid and job preparation, like helping people with their interview, getting them clothes, getting them prepared, and like all the things they need when it comes to like financial help. The second part is the prepare for the future curriculum, which is basically mandating personal finance, financial literacy class for all schools. Having a job exploration elective, helping kids have firsthand experience in jobs that they find interesting. Bi-monthly cleanups, having recreational events, investing into small businesses, parks, and just refurnishing the city.
The Pepito Opportunity Connection is a nonprofit working with Rhode Island's Black and brown communities focused on education, job skills training, and entrepreneurship.
So as I read her proposal, it was so thoughtful, so just so well presented, and so many different ideas that are critical to pulling together what we're doing, such as young people's job skills in high school, getting them to understand where they're going.
16-year-old Kaba is just one example of many young people of color in Rhode Island taking control of their own communities and futures, says Rhode Island's Black Lives Matter Executive Director, Harrison Tuttle.
What we see here at Rhode Island is we see a huge wave of young people that are rising up in different ways that they feel comfortable in and making a difference in the community.
Tuttle has led the state's BLM chapter since it began shortly after the murder of George Floyd and national reckoning on race relations. He says Rhode Island's state leaders haven't done enough to address disparities adversely impacting its communities of color.
Our government has not worked for people of color and working class people in general. And I think because of that, you see disparities in income level and the basic needs that people want.
In addition to the $1 million going to her plan to improve the state's Black and brown communities, Kaba also received a $25,000 scholarship from the foundation. The $1 million investment will be implemented over the next year. Reporting for Atlanta Black Star, I'm Cavante Smalls.